IG Defense Briefing. Rebranded and reinvigorated. Fire for fire.
And freedom greetings to our restoration forces in Bui County this Saturday, January 7th, 2023. Anno Domini, we want to talk again about ARF. And to begin with, I would like to seize this chance for salute the wonderful big giant step where the ARF for Bui, they don't take, where una don't take, or come again like one, as una be used to be before. Because una want assert una identity, una distinctiveness, una uniqueness, una difference from any other forces or any other force of any other group of persons. You are ARF. Now why it be very important for talk again about ARF. What is ARF? Because despite the coming together, some people they don't understand why we call ourselves say ARF. ARF it means say Ambazonia Restoration Forces. That means in a forces where they stand for the restoration of the statehood of Southern Cameroon, Ambazonia, the restoration of the structures of governance, structures of government as they be between 1954 and 1972, where Southern Cameroon it became self-rule, it be governed itself from 1954. So they go reach for 1972, where the first dictator for La Republique, Amadou Ahidjo, it be abolish the federation of two equal states, where Southern Cameroon it be formed with La Republique du Cameroon. Ambazonia Restoration Forces they stand for the restoration of the government of John Foncha, where Amadou Ahidjo be abolished for 1972, 20 May 1972, where it be transformed the Federal Republic of Cameroon into a unity state, the United Republic of Cameroon, in violation of Article 47 for the Federal Constitution. It be abolished the Southern Cameroon's presidency, the post of the premier president for Southern Cameroon. It be abolished House of Parliament and House of Chiefs, even where mobile police and ministers them where they be there at that time. Now wait to where the ARF they work for restore all these governmental structures. So any person where it talks say he don't want the restoration of statehood, not there with we, not there with ARF. Any person where you know accept the authority of the interim government, you know there with ARF. And of course other structures now LGS and counties, local government areas, they be like which way La Republique they call them say subdivision, and counties they be like division. For Ambazonia we get now LGS and counties, local government areas and counties. Any person where he no want provide under a county and under LGA, that one it means say he know the work with ARF, Ambazonia Restoration Forces, because now the structures of governance, now structures, the 61 LGS where they did for Ambazonia and the 13 counties where they did for Ambazonia. Now them they cover the surface area for the territory known as the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. Now why all ARF they must stick to fighting within the confines of their LGS and counties. So that is what we are restoring. You cannot be a national figure fighting everywhere. No, that is not within the purview of what we are restoring, what we are doing. That's why we must fight under our LGS and counties, I repeat. And that's why we must fight as a government force. We are a national force. The ARF, we are a government force, a national army. There is no army in the world that does not belong to the government. So when this revolution shall have gone round full circle, when this war it go down end in the independence of Ambazonia, in a logical consequence, independence of Ambazonia, automatically we become national army officially. Not we not be national army, but officially we not go become national army. And now why we not get for prepare with our mind, do everything for fight with that in mind. All armies in the world they get president like their commander-in-chief, and the president no need for be military man in order to become a commander-in-chief of the armed forces. No, for example, for America we don't get their president them right from the days of Abraham Lincoln, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Franklin Roosevelt, George Bush, George W. Bush, Barack Obama, Donald Trump, Bill Clinton, right to Joe Biden. None of them no be military man. Even for France, we don't get people like François Mitterrand, Jacques Chirac, Nicolas Sarkozy, François Hollande, and now Emmanuel Macron. None of them no be military man. For Biafra for La Republic, no be military man. Even for Britain, we don't get someone with na woman, Margaret Thatcher, no be military woman. We don't get Tony Blair, Boris Johnson, and so on. We don't get for Russia, we get Khrushchev, those names like Stalin, Boris Yeltsin, Vladimir Putin, who is now fighting, who has invaded Ukraine. China, the same thing. We get Xi Jinping. These people are not military.
Yeah, good evening, fellow televiewers. Good evening, Amazonians. You're all welcome to today's edition of our Saturday's defense briefing. It's been a while we've not come on air. We apologize for that. Maybe it was due to maybe some sort of arrangements within our own ranks. Well, we want to particularly pay allegiance and welcome those that have been faithful, those that have been with us, those that have been following our programs all this time. We want to thank you and say that please, if we did go off air, it was not because it was because of reasons beyond our control. Today, we are here today. It's just it's a day we are on this briefing before the pre-draft, and will not take long. We may just be here for about 30 or 40 minutes maximum. So we are asking each and every one of you to hang on there. And after this briefing, we'll be asking you all to move over to the drafting platform. So at this point, we want to look at our panelists for today. We have just one. We have SOS Zama, who is with us. SOS Zama, you're welcome. And we also want to look at those that are on our technical bench, Director Paddy and the rest of them. We want to thank you all for the good job, for the formidable job you've been doing. So before we start, I am the spokesman for the ANSA. I think most of you that have been on this channel, who have been following us, are familiar with me, and you should all be familiar with our SOS, our Secretary of State, Zama. So before we go on, we'd like to have a word, so let him, a brief word from SOS Zama before I move on. The microphone is yours, SOS.
Thank you, Comrade Kenneth. I want to thank everybody who is taking the time this afternoon to sit with us and at least follow up with what's going on with events back home. We know many people are not quite informed regarding stuff that's going back home. But today it's a very special day for the people of Amazonia. We are redeeming our pledges that we sent. We made those pledges a couple of months ago. We are redeeming those pledges. And if you are one of those who made those pledges, please pay up. Soldiers depend on you. For those who haven't done so, we count on you joining the fold of good people who are helping to save our people. I've said often here in this program that there is no Salvation Army coming to help our people. We are the Salvation Army. We have to contribute for this war. We have to do what we must do. Other countries are getting in the trillions of dollars to fight a war of attrition in Russia and other parts of the world. We are on our own, and we have to come up with those trillions or millions of dollars that we need to fight this war. We have a pernicious enemy, an enemy that is unrelenting, an enemy that's killing every day. We cannot stand by and see them quarter our mothers and quarter our sons and cut them to pieces, hang their necks in public places, hang their genitals and in front of minors, expose our citizens to tremendous pressure and oppression. We cannot stand by and watch. We have to do our best to be able to assist our citizens. I keep reiterating that don't be scared that wherever you are in the world, they'll come after you that you are supporting some terrorists or some. We are liberation fighters. We are a defensive fighting force. We've not made any advanced moves in any territory. We are basically trying to take the hands that are squeezing our necks. We are trying to do that, to take the hands off. So you cannot be helped anything other than a genuine Samaritan who is there to help our people. So as it is, I'm not going to take long for today. We're having about 30 minutes or more for this program. And I want to just appreciate all our citizens who have been watching us. We are trying to redesign our program. And as soon as we come out in full strength, you will have a better program that you can interact with us and move on. It will be much more realistic as to real time as to what's going on ground one and ground zero. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Eswezama. Yes, as you've all heard from him, we are all trying to redesign this program. That's the reason. That's also one of the reasons why, we've been off air for quite some time. So we believe in the days ahead, those that will be for those that are following us, and we pray more people come on board to continue to follow the program. You'll be seeing maybe some sort of a little bit of maybe we'll be reprogramming and maybe having some sort of a different phase of the program. So let's since we don't have so much time on our hands, I think I'll just go straight up to the home front situation report. So I think some of the reports you'll be getting here, some reports that maybe some of you must have seen on the social media. So, but we have to bring them up here, and there's a reason we are doing that. So by the end of by the end of my report, some of you will come to know the reason why we are doing this, why I'm doing this right now. So, let me just move right on and give all of you, a brief you all on this, on the action that has been taking place at home front. So let me go back to April, because that's when we've been off air for about a month and maybe a week. So I'll take you back all to the 20th of April, where we had where we had an IED that went off, and our ARFs, they did turn off an IED that took off probably a significant number of the cooperational forces. A lot of them were neutralized, and the least we can look at here should be the least should be 5 of them. From there on, we move on to the 25th of April still as well, where in Bui, this case we are going over to Bui. On this particular occasion, somewhere in Tobin, there was also an IED that was put up there. Most of the terrorists that were in that vicinity, I think there was a place that they used to go on to maybe have some of, maybe go and enjoy themselves. So our ARFs, they took note of that. And on that particular occasion, what happened was they came there and they met their Waterloo. 2 of them went down on that particular occasion. From there on, there was another one in Tartu. In Tartu, it was there was a direct confrontation between our ARFs and one of some of their occupational brigades, those that come into our territory, and they set up their brigades, as they call them. So they attacked one of those brigades, and it wasn't easy. Our ARFs, they were all brave enough. They moved in there in their numbers. And when the terrorists, they saw them coming in their numbers, they all ran for their lives. But before they could do so, before they could do so, I think some of them were already brought down. So in this particular occasion, not less than 2 were also brought down in this particular occasion. So on that particular, our flag was hoisted in Tatum, and it was there for about 4 days. I think the least it should have been 4 days. So it was after that they did come in and try to bring it down. But we salute our ARS for that bravery. What they did, we are giving them a 21-gun salute for that. And on the 28th, still of April, that was in Konye, we found that our ARFs, they were about to attack La Republic military, where they had some of them were stationed somewhere. And on that particular occasion, when they were trying to attack their military, I think they got word that our ARS were coming, and they ran for their lives. And that particular truck, the personnel carrier, was burnt on the spot. Then let's move on to the 1st of May. That was in Matoke. Our ARF ambushed and neutralized at least four occupational forces. These people, some of them we are used to them. coming over to mount their checkpoints where they terrorize our people and take 500 francs CFA from our people. So they did ambush them on that occasion, and at least four of them were sent home in body bags. Still on the 13th of May, that was Saturday the 13th of May, our ARFs in Manu ambushed and neutralized at least 9 of them, 9 terrorists, the occupational forces. They were brought down. And then on that same 13 in Winsop, the Amazonian Restoration Forces used a homemade material to neutralize the enemy and send at least that was before their so-called 20th May celebrations. So that was to send them a statement to tell them that the 20th May are banned in Amazonia. Amazonia is a different territory. They have no right to impose any national holiday on us. So on that particular occasion, they did send out that warning telling them that they should leave our territory and that they shouldn't dare come up with any activities in our territory. And yet, and at least we saw what happened in Bui. When their terrorist military decided to disguise and then come and carry out the march past. So we are also giving those the ARFs in that area 21 gun salute for those particular actions. And then we move on to the 16th of May still. And this time around, that was in Bonge. There was an IED that went off, and at least that was the work of our ARFs and 2 occupational forces, the terrorists, they were neutralized. At least 5 of them were seriously wounded with life-threatening injuries. So I think from our estimates, probably some of them never made it to the hospital as well. And from there on, we move on, that same 16, we move on to Ndian, where the liberation forces, they ambushed and neutralized 3 occupational forces, and some equipment was seized from them. We move on to the 18th in Tombell. Our ARFs, they did neutralize one of the terrorist occupational forces from La Republic of Cameroon, and that was for trying to play. That was on the 18th. That was for trying to play a fast one on our. Yeah, that's I think that's the image on the screen. That was for trying to play fast one on our civilians because we had made an announcement that we don't want any celebrations in our territory. So they did go out to pull our civilians to come out on the 17th to do a march past on the 17th, which they were supposed to maybe record and then show to the show it over their networks that there was some sort of a march past in Amazonia, in Tombell on that particular day. But after they did that, our ARFs didn't let them free. Then very next day on the 18th, they punished them for that very action, for what they did. So one of them was neutralized on that occasion, and I think the others, they ran for their lives. That same on the 18th in Bui, we had one terrorist that was neutralized. He was fond of hanging around with some of our people. I would not make mention of the type of people, but he went there on that particular occasion and met. That was the end of him. So let's move over to still Bui on the 23rd in Kumbu. That was another checkpoint that by the terrorists. And this time around, they have this habit, as I said earlier, of mounting their checkpoints, and when they come there, they terrorize our people, take money from them, and commit all sort of atrocities. So for our fighters came out and told them that our land is not a place for them to come and be doing what they're doing. They have been banned. They have a different country. They are occupying our country. They should leave. So on that particular occasion, there was that IED that came off, and at least 2 or 3 were killed on that particular occasion. And let's move over to still in Boyo. Our guerrillas, I think they attacked a convoy of these terrorists. They were en route again to kill our civilians. And one of the armored personnel carriers then just fell directly into our trap. And from the videos that we saw, the damage that they sustained was that which we don't think anybody came out of that car, out of the armored personnel carrier. And what we know is most of those personnel carriers, they carry not less than 8 terrorists inside. Those here, that's the video. They carry not less than 8 of them. And after that action, we had a careful look at the video. We didn't see any sign of movement or somebody moving out of that truck. So we believe that at least 8 of them were KIA, killed in action, on that particular occasion. And lastly, we are going over to our ARF still. This occasion still in the same week. There was another convoy still, which was ambushed by our ARFs again. And this time around, from the videos, we do believe at least 8 of them also were sent across the Mungu in body bags on that particular occasion. So let me go over before I talk, before I move, before I ask, before I talk to, before I ask, before I talk to my SOS who is on the screen with us today. The reason I said I was going to call some numbers, and I think if we can do a brief calculation just for this, for the past 1.5 months alone, we'll see that the enemy has lost close to 30, or not less than 30, excuse me, not less than 30. And most often we've seen them from the inception, from the beginning of this war up to this point. They've been telling our people that, they've been sending out maybe messages that they've lost 1,000 something. So I'd just like our SOS to brief us, just to give us a briefing, to brief us on maybe, probably, or just to tabulate, to tell us, to look at the numbers and come up with the numbers, maybe the numbers which he feels are the real numbers that have been killed or neutralized in Amazonia. We know some of them have escaped into some other territories, and from what we've gathered, whom they are trying to use to deceive their people, to tell them that maybe they are still somewhere fighting on the territory. Those that have died, they are still deceiving their people. And on this particular occasion, I think it is but right that Amazonians should know that the work that their ARFs are doing on the field isn't easy, but they're getting the job done. So, SOS, please, can you some sort of analyze and tell our people how many of them we feel at this particular point have been KIA, and the reason why they have been trying to hide these numbers? Can you brief our people, please?
Well, in every war, there is a calculation of misinformation. And knowing that the Francophones have never been good people who keep good accounting, they will always have a problem, either deliberately or uneducated guesses that they make. If we factor in the first 2 years that we fought with stones and rubber guns as 0 years, we did not kill any of them, saying that 0. But the last 5 years, if we look at it, say it's for the most active parts of this war, say in Boyo, in Goketunja, in Bui, in Mezam, in Labielem, in Meme, in Victoria, Ekona, Tombel. Let's just take any 7 of those areas that if these people are killed, at least 2 of them, 2 soldiers every day. So if we do 2 soldiers every day, which sometimes we know we have, sometimes we kill 15 of them, sometimes we kill 10 of them, sometimes just factor in, I say 2. Killing 2 of them every day in those 7 theaters, that is 14 of them a day. If you multiply that by 7, you are looking about 98 of them every week die. If you multiply that by a month, you are looking at a little bit over 392 of them dead a month. Okay, if you want to factor that over the 60 months that we fought this war, that is the 5 years that we started having arms to shoot after the enemy, like they were shooting at us, we are looking at 23,000 of them, 23,500 roughly, have died. We are not even calculating those that have amputated in hospital, those that are blinded, those that are they cannot go back to war. They cannot go back. They'll be handicapped for the remainder of their lives. And those are many of them. There are many of them who still die in hospitals. We are only counting battlefield deaths. And those numbers, those are consecutive numbers. It's not even an aggressive number by the numbers that we kill, and 13, 14, sometimes 15 in other areas per day. We are basically looking at it, basically 2 per day. And in those numbers, we are looking at about 23,000 people who must have been killed. It's incumbent on them to keep those numbers as low as possible, to keep the people, hide these numbers so that the people should not be frightened that the people are not coming back. Instead of them having these real numbers of death, they are putting them in missing in action, or they've abandoned the field. No, this time they always do these things basically not to pay redemption or indemnity for these soldiers who are dead. I doubt if La Republique even has a compensation like that. But on the other end, I see somebody like Zrimanto, who for the last 6 years has had this number at 1,200. I say he either did not go to school or he doesn't know how to count. But these numbers, we are keeping this tally, and these numbers are going up every day, and they are going higher and higher. We are developing other kind of tactics to deal with the enemy. As more of them keep coming, we'll be taking out more of them. If you count in the fact that Cameroon, La République du Cameroon had an active army of about 25,000 people, plus paramilitary forces or pre-military trained people, it was about 40,000 of them. If you are looking at it for the past 5 years, if we just calculate only what Amazonian soldiers have been doing, we've taken more than, say, 50% of their fighting force or more. I can say with certainty that 80% of those soldiers who are wearing the uniform in Cameroon Army right now are under 2 years in service. The battle-trained soldiers have all died. Their commanders are staying because they are hiding in the offices. This battle is not going to go anywhere anytime soon. And as the day goes by, we have battle-hardened soldiers who are fighting this war, and they are taking it to the enemy. Before, we used to run and hide. Nowadays, we do not hide. We will go after the enemy in daylight, at nighttime, come rain or shine. And they have to understand that these things happen. I want to say our soldiers are doing the things that they do with the capital numbers, the large numbers of soldiers that they are killing, enemy soldiers that they are killing, is basically of all the contributions that everybody in Amazonia is doing. We are asking for everybody to put their hands in their pocket and get our soldiers the ammunition, to get their soldiers the feeding that they need, the treatment that they need to carry on this war, because this war is basically for all of us. Some of us may never go back to Amazonia. Some of us may never see the end of this war. But for those who remain, it should be a better place than we left them. It should be a better place than we started this war. Remember, for those people who have some grumblings back home that, oh, the diaspora is taking over this thing, the diaspora is doing this, we are asking that we did not start this war. They were shooting at you guys back home, and you guys asked for our assistance. We are giving the assistance the best we can. We cannot all fight in person. We cannot all do what we must do. Somebody must finance the war. Somebody must die. Some people may die. Some of us die abroad too. Dr. Zama died a couple of years ago, but that was somebody who was very comfortable, a very educated person, and he died because of this war. And we also lose people based on this war. The stresses that we get abroad is just the same as you are saying dead people on the street. We see these videos every day, and it takes a toll on many people. So sometimes we have to take a break from these things, and we are asking our people to sometimes you can go back to the barracks and get a rest and get other groups of people to fight. It's war is not for sissies. War is gruesome. War is gory. You see all these people mangled, be they enemy or foe or friend. It's difficult in the mind. It's very, very difficult. But as I said, our people, we have, for those people who want to put their ears in the sand and say, oh, I don't want to see no evil, I don't want to hear no evil. Whether you support this war or not, they are still killing our people. Whether you like war or you don't, they are still killing our people. So why would you not support the war? You don't do anything, the people are still going to be killed just because they are from Amazonia. We see them killed in Sangbalima, we see them killed in Yaoundé, we see them killed in Douala, not because of anything, but for the fact that they are from, they say, Le Bamenda. Okay, so let's keep our hands together. Let's understand that this is a genocide. It's a genocide that's been going on for a long time, and many people are scared to use the word genocide. But if you look at all the characteristics of a genocide, it has a cultural aspect, it has a linguistic aspect, it has people based on the peculiarity of those people who are killed, selectively killed. And I want to tell our soldiers, and I tell the community of Cameroonians and Amazonians all over, that of all the years and all the people who've been killed, We've not killed a single Francophone in Amazonia deliberately. We've not. And we are not showing that. We just want to show that we are restrained by that. And we keep telling them, if they want to do it, we are not going to jump into a sectarian war, because that's what they are trying to do, a tribal war all over to keep the confusion so that they can stay in power in Cameroon. We can't do that. We are asking our people and the Bamileke people, they are all in the middle. They don't have a natural ally in Cameroon. We were their bulwark, and we thought they were going to support us, they were going to harness us like we did them, protect them during the Makiza, but it hasn't worked that way. It's going to come a time when the Bamilekes are going to be squeezed, and we are all stuck in the middle. And this is the time that they have to go back and reevaluate who are their allies in that republic. We are basically the same culturally. We speak different languages, but culturally we are about the same grassland people. And we expect them. It's an expectation that I have for the Bamileke people to give a return for the investment we invested on them 60 years ago. We help them, we stabilize them, we provide them harbors, safe harbors so that they can live. We are asking for them to do the same, because the time is coming. We see all the images from Cameroon, from Sang Malima, where Bamilekes and the Bamums were chopped up to pieces just because of the fact that they are from that part of the country. There are people who are clamoring in Yaoundé that they should go back to their homes so that they could take their assets and distribute it among the lazy people in Yaoundé and in Douala. We have to understand that these things are going to happen. It's ultimately the citizens are hopelessly unemployed. They have filth. They don't have water. They don't have anything that is called on a decent society. So what do you expect? They're going to go after those who have worked hard to get what they can get. And the Bamilekes are all in the bull side when it comes to that. I hope this thing don't happen, but we are inching closer and closer to it. And we are asking them to come back home. We are asking them to contribute to this war, because the French saying, l'ennemi de mon ami, c'est mon ennemi. So the enemy of my friend is my enemy. So they have to create some natural allies in the neighborhood where they are. They don't have any natural allies in the neighborhoods where they are, so they have to go back home. And with that, I think our people, the Amazonian people, are standing strong. We are standing in the face of the animal and the beast, fighting the beast with the dragon, with fire blowing through their nozzles. And we have to stand up. We've stood up for all these years. We've stood up. Any development in Cameroon has always been on the backs of the Bamenda and all that stuff. But we are the people we are because we were taught, even from primary school. In primary school, in class 1, you have your class head. The teacher does not nominate the class head. They elect the class head. They elect the class head boy. They elect the school head boy. They elect the games prefect. Everything in our part of the country is democratically done. But here in East Cameroon, they'll just say, oh, toi, tu es le surveillant, tu es le chef de classe, tu es toi. But that is not our way of behaving. And it's tough. They're not going to learn it. It's so difficult. There got to be a revolution in French countries and especially in Cameroon for them to understand the basics of human character. And I think they are so deficient and so void of that they will kill us just because we are better citizens than they are. I think Amazonians, you should be proud of yourself. Our cities, were cleaned every day. As soon as the Francophone started coming out, it became a junkyard. It became a field, the piss everywhere, the shit everywhere. And it's a place that was not something that was prevalent in our communities. We have to stand up for something. We have to stand up for some value. We have to stand up for our people. And the only way to do that, if you cannot stand in front of a bullet, is to take out your wallet. Take out your bullet until your fingers bleed. Sometimes some of us work extra hours for this struggle. Sometimes some of us don't sleep because we have to respond to crisis back home. We want you to do your part. Even if you have to go to sleep, take out your wallet and hand over that money, because that's what you've chosen to live your life. Some people have chosen to die for you to live your life. And in every society that has happened, no society has advanced human developmental has never taken place without a revolution. We cannot just sit and think that it's not going to be me who's going to fund that. Do your part, and we count on you to do your part today. Today is the day of redemption, but today you cannot, if you cannot redeem, you can pay and start a whole cycle to contribute towards the war. And I hope today is that day that you make that decision. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Esoizama. Thank you for that, for those analysis. I think the numbers have been tallied. The numbers are out. You've had not less than 23 of them, not less than 23,000 of their soldiers, KIA, killed in action. They've been hiding these numbers. That is more evident in the fact that we've seen them. We've seen them recruiting even child soldiers to join their ranks. And for those that are doubting, please, Amazonians, we are winning. What we are doing on the field, we might not be carrying bombs to throw them as we see over in other wars or as we see them in Russia, Ukraine, and so on. But we have guerrillas, boys that do their job and they do it effectively. Our ARFs, they are good at what they do. They are adapting, they are getting better by the day. So, whatever we are doing here, what we'll be doing today, will be going a long way to help them get those materials, the materials that they need to help them carry out this war, prosecute this war. So, from there on, I think, thank you very much. We have to go. Let's look at this other point, and which is very important as well, Sama. We've seen these people, the terrorists, when they come into our territory, they burn our homes. They really burn them. They kill our civilians. Look at what happened in Kumba. They kill our kids. They rape. They even use their proxies. Some of them, they call them Amber Boys, where we know they are boys that have been removed from jail. Some of them removed from jail. Some of them bribed to come out and cause pain, terrorize our people. We've seen a lot of this happening all across Amazonia. Now, looking at this from the military perspective, Eswazama, what can you give? What can you tell our people is their motive? Why is it that they are doing all what they are doing? What is the message? What is the message they're trying to send across? Eswazama, the microphone is yours once more.
Well, the Francophones have that's a Napoleonic tactics. Napoleon Bonaparte used those tactics in all the wars he fought. But once you are doing a war of attrition and scorched earth fighting, you make more enemies than you can even win the war. There's just no way that they're gonna win the war because they are antagonizing even more people, and we are recruiting more people than we have guns to give them. We have to make them to understand they do all these things to do what you call a general punishment for everybody in that area. Not only that, they want to economically damage Amazonia forever so that if they leave, we will struggle, we will do what we will struggle and fight for the scarce resources that are there. But not understanding, I would prefer freedom and poverty than tyranny and riches. We have to, as a people, have to stand for something. We have to stand for some value. I want to make people understand too that of all the homes that are being burned, no Francophone's home has been burned, either by the La République people or by our soldiers. So we have to understand that this war is a war of genocide. This war is a war of attrition, and they are doing it on a daily basis. And we have to understand that we have to confront the beast, otherwise they will continue doing it. It slowed down a bit because we are confronting them before they come into our communities. We are getting much more better intelligence. We are getting much more advanced ammunition, much more powerful ammunition to use against the enemy. They can run this time, but they cannot hide. Each time they see one or two of Amber boys and Amber soldiers, they run. But as usual, the enemy, when they cannot fight you directly, they get proxy groups. They get the ADF, they get the Amber boys who are all thieves to fight for them. At the end of the day, these forces always have to surrender to the real forces of the state. We saw that with Buthelezi in South Africa. We saw that with Savimbi in Angola. We saw that with other people in other wars. At the end of the day, these proxy groups are going to surrender and they will die. At the end of the day, we will have to survive. We will have to overpower these people. And all what you're doing today, All that you have to do today is to give your own vote of confidence to our citizens, to our soldiers who are back home, trying to defend homeland, trying to defend your grandparents, your grandmothers. Every single community in Amazonia has been touched by this war. There is no one that has left unscathed. We have corrupt elites who are fighting with the enemy. We have to start addressing those. We have the corrupt church leaders who are fighting with the enemy. We have to address those things when those things, the time comes for that. But at the end of the day, it's our responsibility. It's your responsibility. It's your kids' responsibility to take care of other people who are suffering back home. And sometimes all the money we collect is not only to buy ammunition and all that. We provide health care for the people. We provide food for the people. That's why Secretary Dr. Tita has been sending a lot of stuff to Nigeria. They've been sending a lot of money for our soldiers to be treated back home in ground zero, back home anywhere that they find themselves and they need treatment. We do provide care for our citizens. We do provide care for the orphans who are born in the bushes. The SOS for Social Service and Women Affairs, Dr. Patience Abiedu, has been doing a lot of care for that. And all these, individually, we will not be able to do that. As a whole, we can do that. And we've been doing that so far really graciously. And today is another day. We are coming to you to look you in the eye and say, hey, help us, help your people. We are the only funders of this war. If we don't, we will perish. You see how they are killing other peoples in other communities. They are killing the Christians in Nigeria. Nobody is standing up for them. They are killing people in other communities. We have to stand up to our people. We have to stand up for them. We have to stand with them to face the enemy. This is the only way. This is the only time that you can do your best. Contribute to the AID, contribute to the ABC fund, contribute, take care of somebody. If you can't, you don't have enough funding, use your knowledge, provide. We have chemical engineers in in Amazonian population. We have people who have metallic specialists. We have people who have different kinds of communication skills. We can get all and acquire all the skills that we have in our community and rebrand this thing and get these things done. People are not contributing. A war is not only contributed by people of that community. We have to reach out to other Africans, even though somebody will say other Africans too are suffering. But sometimes if you have asthma and somebody who has a broken leg, the person with asthma is likely going to get some care first before the person with a broken leg. And as bad as both of them are, our conditions is critical. We are on life support right now. The enemy is coming, and they are coming in their numbers. We are holding the gates, but not for too long. We will have to alter the way we fight this war if we do not get the fundings that we need, and we have to look at our people. A lot of you who are sitting abroad cannot go back home because the enemy has branded you as a persona non grata. They don't want you. You can't come back, or even when you go back, they say you are not a citizen of La Republique. But those things are bound to change if Amazonia is a nation that is viable, which it's very viable. But in the construct of geopolitics, we have to have a space where we have to accept our own people and have them return to a place of peace. Many of us are reaching about retirement, and there's nowhere to go for right now. But those places, we will make them. We will make those people. If we cannot go today, those who are staying back will have a place that's much more peaceful. That's a place that they want for their children and for their families to relax with no recourse of punishment. With no recourse of punishment because they spoke the truth. The truth is deadly in Cameroon. We saw that with Mr. Wazizi. We saw that with other Jonah Agnier. We saw that with the French guy who was killed in Yaoundé because of the truth. The truth is a casualty of war. The truth is a casualty of tyranny. But with our pressure, everybody's pushing at the same time. There is nothing that's insurmountable. So today is that day. You do your best. We are doing ours. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, SOS Sama. That was a military mind, and what we can get from what he has just said is that What we've been facing in Amazonia with regards to the La Republic military, what they've been doing on our soil, they've been burning, they've been killing, they've been raping. They go as far as killing our kids at school. All of that, all what they're doing is just a way to dissuade Amazonians, to make Amazonians think that, okay, let's turn around and embrace the life we had before, as if that life was better. Well, basically living in hell. I think we started all this because we knew that, first of all, we are not one nation. So if La Republique, their enemy, the enemy, if they started, killing, when they started killing us. And when they saw that we were glued, we're all together with our ARFs, they decided to use a different tactic. That's what our SOS is trying to make the people understand. So if you find them burning homes, if you find them raping, if you find them killing, sending all these fake Amber boys to come and do what they're doing, it's just because of one thing. That's a different war tactic they are using. They want to turn the minds of our people. They want our people to look back and say, no, we don't want any of this again. We are suffering. But let's not forget, we've been suffering all along for all these years. So there is just one option. We have to keep on moving forward. We have to keep on moving forward. Okay, SOS, let me just bring you back to this. You talked about Anyenso, and that's one name that had been very prominent for the past 2 or 3 weeks. We saw what happened to Anye. We knew those who were involved, those that carried out the act. But the egg of sea, surprisingly, they came and took responsibility for that action. And that's not the first time. Most of the actions the egg of sea has admitted to, the actions that have involved killing our civilians. And on this particular case, what is very interesting is that on this particular case of Anyiso, now when our civilian population they decided to go when they went for the corpse room for the removal of the corpse from the mortuary at the Bamenda provincial hospital, a lot of them that went there with banners, those that went there to do some sort of demonstrations, they were all turned down. They were stopped by the Republic military. But let's not forget, this is the same military. These are the same people that immediately this occurred, they went on air with their administrators telling our people that the Amber Boys are responsible. When their own people, their proxies, took responsibility, they decided to ban all sort of demonstrations. They were there from the removal right up to the burial. We saw that happen. The videos are there. We can confirm all of that. Looking on this relationship and maybe some others, because we've seen people trying to like turn the interim government around, tell us that we should go over, maybe we'll move over with them to Canada. They have a platform. And on that platform, if you have people like this, and maybe some others, I mean, we have the egg of sea. We have some others that are posturing around for the interim government or their own so-called interim government. With all these platforms that we have seen and what La Republic is doing and some other people taking responsibility, SOS, what do you have to tell our people, those that are back at home, looking at all what is happening with all the drama that is unfolding between this ADF, the egg of sea, and the La Republic du Cameroon terrorist regime?
It's common knowledge or public knowledge that the ADF under Choa Yaba has been working with La Republique for so many years. We've heard audios where they are negotiating payments for them to render fighters killed to the government. We've seen them negotiating ransoms for people who they've kidnapped, especially with the case of Senator Mundi. We've seen the case of them killing Ayafo. We've seen the case of them killing the people who were supposed to have killed some people in Awing. We've seen ADF pick up people in Bachibo, have killed them, has ransacked that village, and we are still thinking that they are with us in this fight. I want to ask everybody who is watching today to tell me where, with all the media coverage that they have, where have they been fighting? Where do they have men who are fighting the enemy? They are sleeping with the enemy. They are eating with the enemy. They are dancing with the enemy, and they are an enemy. Anybody who thinks that the ADF is a friend to the Amazonian people is surely daydreaming. Um, Dr. Cho Ayaba has decided that if it's not him, it's nothing. Sagat, Sagat. That's how Cho Ayaba has it. Who contributes money to ADF, or where do they get their funding? You can see where the IG gets funding under Dr. Sako. They get their funding from the people, from the population. Um, where does Ayaba get the money that he gets, that he says he fights? All those things are arrangements with La Republique, or the arrangement with thugs in the La Republique army to cover the ADF, to do the atrocities that they do in Amazonia. I want to tell the people of Batibo, I say it's incumbent upon you to go after big number. Big number is there ransacking the village, and the chief Alphon in that area can gather all his men, let them go out. There are some people who must sacrifice themselves for the life of the betterment of other people. We have to get rid of this pest. To get rid of Jiga, you have to actually go in there and poke the Jiga out of your feet. You take it out. This man has been something that is a Jiga that is not only on the feet, it is all in the penis. It's everywhere. He's so rambunctious in that area. We cannot keep this guy going around and killing people like somebody who's a child who is playing with flies and killing them when he wants. We have to go after this man. We have to go after him with all the gusto that we have. Every neighboring soldiers, every neighboring village, from Pingin all the way to Njikwa, should go after this guy, so that he all the way to Upper Bayang, so that he does not have any place to go hide. We have to get out this idiot from now. We've tolerated this person so much. He's killed so many people, and we still tolerate it. This is what La Republique does. If they cannot fight the war because they are easily known because of the way they speak, now you have a Bameta boy who's sitting in there. He speaks like Bameta, and you think he's a friend. No, Big Number has never been one. He's been a thief to start with, and he's continuing that with the back of arms from the La Republique. So let's put our heads together and get rid of this pest, because he is actually a pest. And if we keep it, he's going to radicalize all the other ones, and we're going to have more people. It's easy. In my village, they say the legs can only work with the head. If the head is not there, the legs are not going to go nowhere. So we have to chop off that head. Chop off that head of that animal that's there, they call Big Number. And I think these are some of the things that these contributions will do. We will either make him to comply to behaving himself as a civil and civilized person in our community, or he'll be treated like the enemy that he is, and it's up to him. For those people who keep supporting the ADF, I'm asking for you to rethink your approach to this war. Ayaba is not fighting this war. He's a one-man army trying to get what is good for him. We could see that from all what Capo Daniel has been saying. There's been a rift between the two of them, and we are getting the real story or the internal workings of the ADF, and it's not pretty. You can smell the onion, and it really stinks. What Ayaba and his group are doing, every person is running away. Sama Thomas has left. All the other people who were core around, and we are waiting for Pascal Kiki to run out of there. We are seeing Ashu now talking with four sides of his mouth. We are not going to wait for them to disintegrate. We were going to disintegrate that. We have accepted a lot of stuff that, the ADF is a friendly soldier. No. Anywhere that we see the ADF, we are asking our soldiers to be on the alert. Any person who raises their arm against them, you should defend themselves. We cannot keep burying kids because we say they are from the same area. No, an enemy is an enemy. An enemy is somebody who wants to kill you. An enemy is somebody who wants to put roadblocks for you to achieve what you want to achieve. And all those are characteristics of the ADF, and all those are characteristics that La Republique is using. And the La Republique is using the ADF very fondly. At the end of the day, they will treat them like the Russian fool. They will be treated like a useful fool that they have been. And they will be dumped. And they will be betrayed for us or somebody else to kill them. I know they are going after Big Number now because Big Number has a lot of their secrets. But what we should do, we should find Big Number and arrest Big Number. Nobody should kill Big Number. We are not in the business of killing people. We will get big number, and he will pay his according to his crimes that he's committed. And I think your aims, your contributions today is some of those things that we have to use. Some of the money we have to use to go after these people who are terrorizing our people, who are making our people have sleepless night, who are making our people die in the bushes because they lack medical facilities to go to. Even when they go to the hospitals, they come in there and kill them in the hospitals. So we are looking for ways that we can help our people, and this is one of the ways that you can do it. I'm telling the people of Ashong, you better rise up on your feet. You better stand up and stand up against this little rat that is in the midst of your people. Take care of that, and we will be a better place.
Yeah, thank you, SOS. Nobody else said that better than the way you put it. I think most of our people are going to understand what has been happening on the home front with regards to these people. Our ARFs are not; they are fighting on two fronts. They are fighting the enemy we know very well, and they are fighting the enemy that is disguised and living among them. And we know the enemy is good at all of this. What they do to turn our people away, what they do to terrorize our people, what they do to kill our people. If they cannot go in there directly and do it by themselves, they use their proxies. We've seen that; it's been very evident. Last time we've been talking about the issues of, whenever we have a good fighting force and it is stationed somewhere, the next thing is you have the ADF trying to set up camp very close to them. The reason is, I think it's very simple. They have La Republic elements within them. They want to study those camps and see how to take out those camps. And I think it is now that as we've put a stop to that. If you are coming in the name of ADF and you approach any ARF camp, they have direct instructions: take you out. We are not going to sit down. We are not going to be lying on our laurels, whereby some people will come in and try to stop the good work we've been doing for the Amazonian people. Our ARFs, they are there. They are very capable. They are focused on the enemy that we know very well. But this time around, and I want to tell them, they don't have the numbers. We have the numbers. We have them. They don't have the numbers. When they go about the group, just regrouping, taking one, two, three, and then taking the Republic elements and adding within their ranks, coming out and trying to maybe show up on screen, show up on social media that they have the numbers. If we put our ARFs together, they are not going to be 1/10 of what we have. But we are going to unleash the beast. For those that they've been trying, or what they've been doing behind our backs, or what they've been trying to take down our fighters, terrorize our people, our ARFs are off, they are up to the task. The ARF is up to the task. So from now, I think those that have been going even after our people, we have seen this case. We look at the case like just like the SOS said, the case in Batibo. They go around villages, collecting money from poor civilians, poor mothers that are in the villages. All that is uncalled for. The case that they blocked the road, La Republic was putting up a camp somewhere close to Aladu camp. They blocked the road going to Begu. And all the people that were flying that road, they had to route. They had to go on a different route. All of that just because they want to protect the enemy, La Republic to Cameroon. We saw the case with Chacha. We saw so many, there are so many. They are only going after our genuine fighters. But we want to make this very clear. There is no ARF that we are going to spare this time around. So, they did it for Nyinso. That was not the first case. They've been doing it for others. I think it's just this time around that many Amazonians, those that have been talking to us from home, they're coming to that realization. They're saying that we don't want these people out. They don't want these people again. We want them out. And that was the reason why the enemy, I think they got word of what our population they were planning, because they wanted to come out with placards to condemn the Hague of Sea. And what happened was, I think the enemy got word of that and decided to stop all demonstrations. Our people have
I don't
become
think the
wiser.
placards. I don't think the placards do it. I think words are not going to do it. Action is what really works. We cannot
Okay.
beg ourselves out of this quagmire. We have to literally go after them with the same weapons that they have and go after them with all the might that we have. We cannot beg and beg and beg. We've tried to get to these people to understand, and Chua Yaba has made it. It's a policy of theirs to kill soldiers in the field. That is a policy. It's a standing policy that has not changed, and he hasn't renounced that. We cannot just let our young people die because they think somebody is their brother. We have to redress that, and I think we have to do that quick.
Good. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Let's look at this other point. I think before we run off, we have seen their military. They come in the La Republic military. They terrorize as they kill, and they turn around to tell our population that the military is your friend, though they are an occupational force. They go into the mosque. There was a video that came out. One of them trying to say that okay, he contributed to build a mosque and so on. People should come. They should pray together and all those and all whatnot. When they kill our people, they pretend to go and pray with our people, and at the same time, we
Hello,
find them
hello,
around talking with heavy accents.
hello, SOS.
Yeah, they come
Yes,
around with
can you hear me?
yes,
SOS,
yes, we can hear you.
amazing. I'm just calling to react to what SOS Ama just said. And Amazonians are very impressed that he, as the commander or the person in charge, and who understands the defense apparatus of Amazonia right now. Amazonians are impressed of the fact that he will make that very categoric statement. We need to unwaveringly tackle the ADF. I have shared this emotion with the interim government, and I'm very happy that you all agree with this, because Ayabacho has had one agenda. I'm using this to announce to all those who are watching us. Barrister Fru, myself, Barrister Mbesa, and Sylvester Zama are coming back live in a few minutes for the pre-draft, and this is going to be part of our discussion, including the situation in San Malima and the purpose of this draft of tonight. The ADF, from the day Sisiko became chairman of the governing council, Mr. Cho Ayaba has positioned himself to plant a hegemony, to rule Amazonians, even though they have rejected his self-acclaimed leadership. He started by telling everybody that he knows more than any other person. That's the reason why you find him where he is today, and that he's killing our people. He wanted the world to know. He started by telling his spokesman, now his enemy, Kapo Ngong Kapo Daniel, said a few days ago that until Amazonians, he was talking for Cho Ayaba, that until Amazonians will start putting the right people to lead. So they recognize that though they call him the leader of whatever organization, he is not the leader. And so Cho Ayaba in his mind will never ever accept any other person to lead him. Even when you see him trying to make some form of coalition for surrender with the Jomba Akurus and every other person, is because he knows that in that so-called gathering, he is going to be leading them by telling them, I'm the one that has fighters on the ground. If President Sako opts to get into any coalition, he will back up. He did that in 2018 during the grand march in Washington D.C. and the conference in Washington D.C. I was in the platform. I was one of those the president honored at the time in 2018. At that time, I was still in Yaoundé. I was that platform with all the Harriet Fomukis and all the Dr. Harriet and all of them. in a platform, and all the people who came together as frontline leaders, they came together. I was in that platform with them, and shockingly, Cho Ayaba made a statement that was shocking. During that time, Cho Ayaba went ahead to key fighters. So when the president wanted to ask, he made a statement that undermined and said the president knows nothing. He cannot work with him. I never forgot. During which time I brought Akwanga on SCBC before we moved into ABC. Cho Ayaba is the only person that has never ever wanted to affiliate himself with anything that has to do with us. Now he was claiming at that time that having a television was a bad idea. I was shocked that in some time in 2019, he already had his own television. Why am I giving this history? So that some of you listening should not just think that this is an innuendo. This is something we have a clear understanding. Cho Ayaba has positioned himself to key our people. And I'm happy that the SOS for defense and strategic missions on the ground is saying categorically that we cannot politicize it. Cho Ayaba has been recognized internationally as a terrorist leader. We are now informed by Capo Daniel that Canada does not want him because of his atrocious acts on the ground. We have seen fighters loyal to Cho Ayaba behead people on camera, and they said Cho Ayaba sent them. So this is just to applaud Sylvester Zama for that unwavering position that he has taken, and to tell Amazonians that you need to support Sylvester Zama tonight in today's draft so that this can be executed, because we must consciously, calculatively, strategically unite our forces on the ground to fight La République du Cameroon and their proxy militia, which is the ATF. Thank you very much. We'll be back in a few minutes as they conclude this program. SOS Zama, myself, and Barrister Fro will all be there. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Director Paddy. Thank you so much. I think we are gradually coming towards the end of the program. And I think we've talked elaborately on this issue of the proxies, the ADF and the AGOVC and the connections they have with the Colonial Republic. There will be more on that in the days ahead. And because we know that they will keep on doing what they are doing, but as we said, we'll take them out. We will not spare them. And for whatever Yaba is doing, there is a saying that he only wants to be the head. He only wants to be the leader. But there is a saying that to be a leader, you must be a good follower before you be the leader. And if you can't be a good follower, you'll never be a good leader. So I wasn't a leader. Let's be clear with that. So I was on this point talking about the terrorists from La République du Cameroon. We know that they are not supposed to be on our territory. And they are trying to portray themselves as being friends of the population. These are the same people that come in. We saw what happened in Bamenda one time. They shot at our people when somebody was knocked on the bike and so on. When our people came out, they opened fire on them. It has been happening across the territory. What happened in Garbu? They were the ones that came in to kill our people. It has been happening across the territory of Ambazonia. They are the same people that come to pretend that they are building mosque. They are building this. They want to go into churches with our people. What is happening here, SOS? What's happening here? What should be the message? What message do you have for our people to tell them against these terrorists, what they are doing? Because they are just they are just pretending among our people. So please give a message for our people.
If I could be permitted to quote one of the generals in the Carthaginian War, General Barker, he had told the Carthaginians who were frolicking with the Romans that, hey guys, my people, I'm telling you, know your enemy today, because your enemy tomorrow and the days to come will be the same enemy that you have today. Our people should understand that this enemy has been an enemy for a long time. They've been an enemy for 62 years. They're not going to change. The color of the chameleon may change, but the chameleon still stays the same. They may pretend to work with us. They may pretend to go to church together. They may pretend to build churches. And who tells you that the saint who builds a church is a saint anyway? Um, as I said before, building a church is not it. The church is not a foundation of a human soul. The human soul is a foundation of a church. And they can say all what they say. They can fool some of Ambazonians, those gullible beggars who go to Yaoundé and stay in Yaoundé. They will die there and they'll be buried like rats. And probably they may not even be given a burial. They may be tossed in the river Mfundi and it goes to the sea. They are valueless to these people, and they will realize that only when they are dead. We see that all the time when they die. Some of them cannot even be buried in their villages. We have Nifrundi who is sitting there. I don't think he can even be given a pass to go to his village. His village will not even permit him to be buried there, because this is a man whom women came out naked, exposing themselves under the elements to protect him. But when it's the best time for them to get a return of service, a good favor from him, he ran away and he's eating with the enemy. He's dancing with the enemy. He's sleeping with the enemy. And we will accept that for a short time. For those who are stupid, yes, they will do that. But eventually, the Amazonian is somebody who is forgiving, but we never forget. We will never forget who is our friend, because it's a binary decision to make today. You are either with us or you are not with us. And those who are with us, we will be glad to receive them. Those who are not with us, we will never want to link with them because they will never change. They can build all the churches they want. They can sit in churches. The moderator who was saying that it's an illusion of an Amazonia is an illiterate who hasn't understood anything about it. He's a looter. He's no different from the La République people. There's a man who spent 85 million francs to celebrate a birthday of his, but there are churches and schools in Victoria where he is that have not been completed. I have a church right there in Mile 2 next to Down Beach that has not had it built. It was built by the people who were contributing, but these people will collect money and send to him in the synod. They will collect money and say, oh, this is the moderator's money for his birthday. We have to understand all these people are the same. The occupier or the colonizer, La République, is doing the same thing that Fonka is doing, Fonkika or whatever they are calling him, is doing. It's the same thing the Catholic Church is doing, because there is no sense for them. They have all these schools, they build all over. It's a money generating event for them, and they don't give nothing to the society. They don't give nothing to the community. We can sit and complain about, oh, this La République is doing it. We have these people who are henchmen of La République. They are doing the same thing in our communities. They cannot account for nothing. It's the same accountability that we are asking for La République, and they can't do it. And the same people who are sitting in our communities say they are community leaders, they are church people, they cannot even account for what is going on. If you ask the moderator how much money comes in on a Sunday, every Sunday in the church, he will not be able to tell you, because all of them are thieves. They start stealing from the treasurer to the church pastor to everything. It's all a combined system where people are always stealing. And we have to get rid of that. In an Ambazonia that we are building, in an Ambazonia that we are getting these things, we will sort these things out. And our people will get what we want, a space that is made up of peace-loving people, a space that is made of honest people, a space that's made up of hardworking people, and a society that we're going to be based on merit, not because I know somebody, not because I'm the son or daughter of this person. We have to do all these things because these people are sacrificing their lives. We are not going to go over there and lord over them. It's not going to happen anyway. So we have our people who don't pray to the wrong God, because it's not going to help you too much. And I think all these people coming to say they are building churches and mosques, they're surely praying for the wrong God, because they are not abiding by even the basic tenets of the society that says You have to take care of your least privilege in society. When has the Presbyterian Church stood up and said, La Republique, you are killing my pastors? When are they going to stand up and say, you are killing my parishioners? When? If they cannot do it now, when will they do it? When Jesus comes back? I think it's a long time. We've been waiting for him, and he isn't coming yet. But until then, we have to make them accountable to our own rules by what we are guided by. And Amazonia has to make these people responsible. They have to be accountable to our people, and we have to make it so. Until then, they will keep doing the same thing that La Republique is doing against us in another way.
Okay, thank you, Eswezama. And the message I think most of us should understand is that when these people they come from La Republique of Cameroon, they pretend to talk to our people with their heavy French accent. People who, under normal circumstances, when they drive around in their big military trucks, you stand on the way, they crush you. But just because they have been facing resistance, they want to reoccupy, they want to recolonize Amazonia. They pretend to talk to us in a language that we feel that that a language that they feel we can understand. We should let them know that we don't understand them, and we don't understand them now. We'll not understand them tomorrow. They should go back to their territory. So, for those that are still doubting, look, there is something we should understand. As Ambazonians, we were just some sort of cohabitating with the French or with those that we call La Republique du Cameroon. That's the reason. There is something that has been happening for those that are talking about maybe trying to live together. Look, ever since La Republique's independence, there's never been that chance. There's never been that thought to even think that an Ambazonian can be a president of their country. The reason is that they don't want a foreigner to be a president of their country. And for those of us that are thinking that, those that are remotely, because we know that there are some of them that have nationalized, some of them that are already La Republique elements, they should stay over there. And for those that are looking at the problems we are having, thinking that, well, maybe having second thoughts, please, we should take note that we'll be moving from fry pan to fire. The situation we've had worse situations. What we are having right now, we are just almost at the end of the tunnel. So we should keep on doing what we are doing. The last question to you, Esra Zaman. We have 7 years of this war and counting. What message do you have for Ambazonians, especially as we look forward to our redemption draft for tonight?
7 years is nothing. 7 years is better fighting than you being waterboarded. If a soldier has your neck inside, plunge inside a bucket of water, you don't have 7 years. You don't have no time. Our people want to not go to that stage where we are not able, we are drowned, and we are not able to fight back. We are not able to talk back. At this point, that's where we are asking everybody to contribute for this war, because we still have at that point where we can literally challenge these people. There was a video going on in social media where this young girl was walking to their house and to her home, and these police officers were just harassing her, and she had the balls to stand up and tell them, you back off. She stood her ground. I don't know the end. I don't know what happened at the end of the video, but she had that courage to stand up, because that's how we are trained in our own part of the country. The Ambazonian will question why. You have to answer why first. It's not that she was resisting to go. Why are you stopping me? Was the question. This idiot could not answer. And she said, no, if you cannot tell me why you cannot take me. You only take me only after you beat me down and take me. But you are not going to take me on my own volition. And she decided, and she did not move. So our people understand that. Our people are trained from childhood to be that. The Francophones, if it was somebody from the Francophones, say, okay, you go there, they'll go sit down. They've never learned how to think. They lack critical thinking skills, and that's what their problem is. They have this top-down culture where the president or whoever tells them this is what is going to happen, and that's it. There is no challenge. There's no second thought. There's no second idea that comes into the pool of ideas. We are not that people. We are a whole different breed of people. and we are fighting because of what we cherish, because of our educational system, because of our legal system. In the French system, you are guilty before and you have to prove yourself innocent. But in our system, you are innocent, and the court has the onus is on the court to prove you guilty. So which one has a greater burden? The French side has a greater burden because you do not have all the means to be able to prove your innocence. So a lot of innocent people go to prison. And that's how it's been working for them. And I bet you it's not been working very well. That's why they are agitating all over. I want our people to understand that we are very different. We are very, very different from our upbringing. If you are, some of you, like some people in our communities have families that are based in Amazonia, and some of them that are based in the French people, you see the things are very different. And we don't have to go back and lecture our people about the differences we have. We are not fighting this war because of differences. We are fighting this war because of the atrocities that they have emitting on us. We are not fighting because we speak English. We are not fighting because we think differently. We are fighting because somebody is killing us because of what we are. And we have to understand these are basic things, basic characteristics of a genocide, and we should call it a genocide and keep this thing crawling. We said um, people have to fight because they continually do it. They continuously burn our villages. They continuously burn hospitals. They destroy roads. They destroy our forests. So we cannot live in an environment where there's entropy. We are trying to bring it to a steady state where we can manage our own affairs and deal with the things the way we think and the reasoning behind what we do. And Amazonians, this is the time, this is that year where you want to be able to contribute towards this war. Somebody says it's 7 years already, they are tired. Yes, it's tiring. The night is darkest at dawn. When you are just at the peak of the mountain, that's when you can slide down furthest. But sliding down is deadly at that point. We have the sea behind our back and the mountain in front of us, and climbing the mountain is easier than going into the sea when you don't know how to swim. We have to climb that mountain. We have to grow on top of that Mount Fako. That this is the time. This is the time that we want to have that liberation. And liberation is not going to come for everybody. Some of us are not going to make it. Some of us are going to die before this revolution comes to an end. Some of us are going to die before the actualization of a geopolitically free state of Amazonia. Some of us are not going to make it. And that's evident. That's just the nature. Some people have to sacrifice for some others. You have to do your own sacrifices now. Even if you don't have to wash those clothes and hang them somewhere to dry, you don't have to run your dryer so that you can save some money to give to Amazonian people who are suffering right now. You don't have to buy that extra coffee that you drink every day. You don't have to buy the liquor that you drink every day. Please, the tons of little things that you as an individual watching this program can do for the people of Amazonia, that will have an indelible remark based on you, you've done your best. You're doing your best by not also sacrificing yourself. We are not asking you to give your mortgage. We are not asking for you to give your car payment. We are asking for you to live the life that you are living, but you can feel a little bit of a pinch. If you can turn down your thermostat in the winter a little bit just to save a little bit to contribute to these people, we have to do our best. We have to do our own sacrifices, just like the people. We cannot sacrifice ourselves in front of a bullet, but we can do as much as advice. We can do as much as support our people. We can do as much as contributing towards their own very own survival. It may be contributing money. It may be contributing medical supplies. It may be contributing ideas. We are all willing. Everything is valued. Knowledge is valued. So if you have some knowledge as to how we can advance this diplomatically, come on, we are waiting for you. If you know how we can get women pads for their periods rather than them using moss, that's a good idea. If you know how to get stuff that our people will make their life even a little bit easier, even for 1 or 2 or 3 nights, that's 1 or 3 nights that they'll feel like a human. Because at this point, our people are suffering, and it's incumbent on all of us to be able to do the best we can. And I don't think I can say anymore because we've been in this fight for the last 7 years. Yes, there are some people who've been at the side of the people of Amazonia every day for the last 7 years. There are some people who have come in mainstream. There are some people who are still hanging on the riverside. There are some people who are miles away from the riverside in their own contribution towards this fight. But at the end of the day, it's better late than never. We are asking everybody, do your best. Talk to other people. Talk to other nationals. Expose the story of Amazonia because it's not understood and it's not known by a lot of people. I was in the soccer field the other day talking to a veteran team I'm coaching with from different nationalities, and I was talking to them about our homeland, and they're like, "Oh, I've never heard about that. Oh, I didn't know Cameroon even speak. People were speaking English." I say in Cameroon. I say no, Cameroon doesn't speak English. They speak French. I'm from Amazonia, and they're like, "Oh, I've never heard about Amazonia." So you start that education. Once people start knowing what you are fighting for, understand what you are fighting for, there's a tendency that they're gonna sympathize with you. They're gonna help you. We are not only looking for this fight to be an Amazonian fight. We are not only looking for this fight to be something that's understood by us. It's a problem that Africans need to understand, and the only way to do that is everybody going out there and telling them our story so that they understand from who we are, rather than waiting for La Republique to tell them what we are. A lot of them don't get that information from us. So you can do that as a diplomat for this Amazonian fight to liberation, and we can make a lot of headway rather than counting on a few of us, people who are just sitting here doing a little here, doing it. But all of us doing little small stuff, contributing to this fight is going to make the pile big. It's going to make the idea bigger, and it's going to make it far-reaching than only a few people. So if you don't have money, you can have an idea. You can be this foot soldier for this. You can contact your congressmen. You can contact your senators, wherever you are in every country. You can go to the Bundestag if you are in Germany, to the parliament in Britain if you are. You can go to any place where there's liberty, because that's what the process they want. At least we would have met our ideas understood by the people who we are seeking support from. If they don't understand you, they can't support you. If we do not get them to know that we mean business, they can support us. But at the end of the day, let's not count on that support. Let's do what we must do first. Then the support comes in just as a secondary help to get us up the hill. That last 3 feet that we have to touch the top of Mount Fako, if we can get there, and we need somebody to, in my village, they say, Torte is just like support you, just to guide you up to the top. And that's where we are asking these people who are supporters. But the bulk of the work is on us, and we have to push that ball all the way 90% up that hill, and just wait for the few people to push up down the other side. As it is, it's our role, and we must do it. We can't count on any other people. Remember, there's no Salvation Army coming for Amazonians. We are the Salvation Army of the Amazonians who are living right there on ground zero, right there on home front. There's no other person. And if you found somebody, let me know. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, SS Zama. I think I'll take that also as that was the last question I had for you. And I'll also take that probably as your closing remark. But we've said it here. You heard the SOS, 23,000 and counting KIAs from La Republic to Cameroon. Those we've killed from their military, 23,000 and counting. That's a meat grinder for the military of La Republic to Cameroon. I think that should be half of their military force. We are not talking about those whose hands, foot, and so on have been amputated, maimed, and so on while they were in action. Those that will never come back to the battlefield. There are a lot of them in their hospitals. I heard that somebody told me that if you go to that hospital in Yaoundé, where they are keeping most of those their injured military like public forces, you might not come back. You might come back and refuse your food. You might not come back and eat. So all of this is thanks to those who have been contributing and helping us to keep the struggle alive. There are a lot of people sitting on the side. Well, we want to tell them. If you are probably looking for action, we are fighting a guerrilla war. We don't have an army somewhere where we have to rally them, take them on maybe on a single mission, and we see them bombarding their camps and so on. We take 5 here, take 8 over there, and when we add the numbers, La Republic is losing big time and Amazonia is winning. I've said it, it's a meat grinder for the La Republic military. There was a time we said, by the time we are done with them, They will not be able to fight a kindergarten boxing team. But Amazonia will be the Waterloo. We are asking them that they should leave our territory peacefully, or they will continue to die. They will continue to die, and there is no better way we can put it. There's no better way we can put it. So as we are coming here tonight, we should understand that our restoration forces, they are in the bushes, they are running around, they are in the towns. They need our support. They need it now more than ever before. And though we find their military running around trying to stop them from acquiring materials, no, they have adapted. They have adapted, and they have adapted well at producing homemade, devastating little gadgets. They will still continue to produce those gadgets, and La Republic will never find it easy with our restoration forces. Amazonia is their land of no return. When they continue coming into our land, they should understand that, those that are going back, they'll be going back in those body bags, and we'll never be tired. We'll never be tired of doing what we do. But we can only get that support from the Amazonian people. We can only get the support from the Amazonian people. So as we are transitioning to the draft platform, we are asking all Amazonians, that please, when you come there, know that it's not a one-time thing. Even if you have drafted before, look at it this way. We have to continuously supply our restoration forces. It's not a one-time thing that maybe they have to, they are producing gadgets. They have to continue with that. And all of that goes with funding. The SOS is here. There are a lot of our colleagues in the ANSC. There are a lot of defense people in the LGA. What I want them to understand, want people to understand is that, dealing with this with our fighters on a day-to-day basis, we have experienced a lot. And some of those, we will share some of our experiences sometimes in the future. But when they come, they cry to us, we need this, we need that. And some of those things, some of them are personal, some of them are things that they need to continue the fight with. Some of the stories we get from them, there are stories that sometimes just make some of us just broke down. We find it difficult, like maybe to look at and accept what they are going through, but it's the reality on the ground. It's the reality on the ground. We may be comfortable in our houses, we may be doing whatever we are doing, but it's not easy. I had an audio. One of them sent an audio today, and you could hear the gunfire that was going on in the background. It wasn't easy. It's a situation whereby they find themselves in day out, and for us to be able to make them victorious, for all of us to be victorious, please, let's make sure that we redeem our drafts this night. So with that, I'll be rounding up. I don't know, SOS, do you have the last word for our people? Or
Well, I think we can say enough. Do your part. Do your civic duty, and you will like it. You will enjoy it, because when you don't get information, you don't get a call back home that your family has been killed. That's a good night that you get, and your family gets a good night's sleep too. One day, and we have to take this thing one day at a time. When this thing started 7 years ago, nobody thought 7 years was too long. But I'll say, like Martin Luther King said, how long is too long? Not too long. That's
thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And with that, we've come to the end of this Saturday's defense briefing. We are asking our audience, please kindly change the platform, transition over to our redemption draft platform. Please, we are asking all of you to go there, support our fighters, support our ARF. Do all you can. Put your hands deep into your pockets, help them out. I want to give a special thank you to Comrade, to Director Paddy. We want to thank you because Actually, he did everything to have us tonight. I want to thank SOS, and particularly I want to thank our audience, those that are out there, our televiewers. We want to thank you people. We love you people so much, and we'll always be here, even if we miss maybe as we did in the past. But we did miss as we did in the past. But we are promising you all that we'll have to do everything possible to be here every Saturday to give you information on what is happening with our forces on the home front. So with that, we'll be making it a rendezvous for next week, and we hope to see all of you again next week. Please call your friends whenever you come on this platform. Share it out. Let those that are out there know about what we are saying, the information we're sending out to our people, so that together we can make it to Boya in due time. Thank you so much. It's a rendezvous for next week. Good night to everyone.